Hey everybody, hope you're having a great day. Welcome to the latest edition of Notre Dame Daily, brought to you by FanArch. I'm Pete Mulroy, and coming off their most complete performance in all phases of the game Saturday in Fayetteville, the Irish will feature the same depth chart this weekend when Boise State comes to South Bend. Leonard Moore, while still questionable, is listed as one of the two starting corners, of course, along with Christian Gray, while Tay Johnson keeps his starting spot alongside Don Schuler at safety. One change, though, is that freshman Eric Schmidt will now handle kickoff duties instead of Marcello Diomede. To no surprise, the offensive line, which has really gelled in recent weeks, I think we can all comfortably say that after a really rough go at Miami, especially late, is once again going to feature Anthony Knapp, Billy Shrouth, Ashton Craig, Gerby Lambert, or Sullivan Absher. That stays the same, and Emil Wagner from left to right. And then when you go back on the defensive side of the ball, just looking up and down the depth chart, freshman defensive backs, Dallas Golden, Carson Hobbs, Ethan Long, Jadon Blair, and Cree Thomas keep their places there as each looks to become more comfortable with the passing games and weeks. And I certainly think we've started to see that as well. For as comfortable and cohesive as the offensive line has gotten, a lot of this young talent has been really good lately as well. And there's an abundance of it up and down the Notre Dame depth chart. For me, again, I remain incredibly excited and intrigued to watch the continued development of the younger players, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. Many of these kids were thrust into tough positions early in the season, but now as the games have passed, I think it's fair to say that we're starting to see that these guys are ballers. They can play ball. Now, of course, as we know, the Irish need to just keep stacking wins. We talked a little bit yesterday about that Boise defense, specifically in the secondary. I've been talking about their quarterback, Maddox Madsen, and what he brings to the table. And while Notre Dame last week was dismantling Arkansas, Boise was doing the same in their win over Appalachian State. The Broncos absolutely love having a QB capable of racking up yards and touchdowns through the air. And while that's great, getting the run game going once again is top of mind. And again, Maddox Madsen has eclipsed 275 yards passing in 3 of the 4 games this season. Boise posting a 3-1 record during that, 9 touchdowns against just 1 pick. But with 3 legitimate runners in the backfield, pounding the rock is just as important for a Boise team who did a ton of that, as we know, last season when Ashton Jeanty was leading the charge. With Jeanty now with the NFL's Las Vegas Raiders, the torch is passed to the combo of Dylan Riley, Malik Sherrod, and Sire Gaines. And while it's hard to replace the production of a top 10 NFL draft pick, this trio has done a solid job. On the season, Riley, Gaines, and Sherrod have combined for over 800 yards on the ground and 8 scores. But in the recent 47-14 win over App State, the rushing game took a back seat. Riley carried the ball 16 times, amassed just 46 yards. It was an average of about 2.8 yards per carry, while Sherrod and Gaines combined for 21 touches and a total of 118 yards. Now, sure, given the state of the passing game in this one, how good it was, with Madsen throwing for 4 touchdowns and over 300 yards, perhaps the run game wasn't deemed essential. You also add in the fact that in that game, the Mountaineers looked completely overmatched. Nevertheless, against a Notre Dame defense that may be beginning to find its footing, including up front on the D-line, led by Gabe Rubio, establishing the run will be one of the keys to success for this Broncos team this weekend in South Bend. Riley, as a matter of fact, is the lone back to rush for over 100 yards in a game this season for Boise, and he did it twice. He had 123 on just 6 carries in a blowout of Eastern Washington, and then did it again 2 weeks later, a $171 on 19 touches in a high-scoring win over Air Force, 49-37. Notre Dame knows it's going to need to get pressure on Maddox, who looks like he'll be, again, as we talked about this yesterday, without starting right guard Roger Carrion, who was banged up in last week's win. Stopping the run is at the top of the list for the Domers as well. And just as important and paramount as it's going to be for Notre Dame to stop the run, on the other side, it's Boise State having a burning desire to reestablish its run game. So it's going to be one of these storylines that's going to be fun to watch as this game progresses against Saturday, October 4th, 3:30 p.m. Eastern Time kick, NBC Peacock, Notre Dame, Boise State. Switching to the Irish offense now, and what more can we say about the backfield combo of Jadarian Price and Jeremiah Love? Simply put, they've been a beautiful duo. With 106 carries combined on the season, Notre Dame's 1-2 punch has accumulated 11 rushing scores 4 receiving touchdowns, and over 600 yards on the ground. Love's also added another $150 on 13 catches, while Price's lone reception as a contributor in the passing game came this last weekend when he hauled in a 35-yard score from C.J. Carr. Against Arkansas, both guys were electrifying. Love registering 2 rushing and 2 receiving touchdowns, picked up 127 total yards of offense, with Price also finding the end zone twice, 1 rush, 1 receiving. He also ran the ball 13 times effectively and efficiently for 86 yards, again with that touchdown reception from Carr. For Notre Dame, now that their quarterback has clearly found his rhythm and confidence, and we really saw that this past weekend against Arkansas and in the Purdue game, the Irish offense continues to roll at just a completely higher clip. Mike Denbrock's ability to fire up the passing game with the connections to Malachi Fields, Jordan Faison, Will Pauling, and trying to get Jaden Greathouse back and more involved has been the perfect complement to their most reliable offensive source, the running game. With an offensive line that, again, is also playing with more confidence these days, both Jeremiah Love and Jadarian Price know their roles are absolutely, undeniably, without question, going to remain active and consistent. After all, they are what makes this offense go. Having that luxury at your disposal from the perspective of both Carr and Denbrock must be an incredible feeling. The way this offense continues to rack up yards and points has been impressive. But as good as the passing game has been, this group would be nowhere near the level of efficiency without the steady play and balance from Jay Love and Jay Price. I think that is fairly clear as we continue to move along here and watch this duo continue to do their thing. And just to close now, the job for the Irish, as it has been all season, is to win games. And you talk about having all these complements, a defense that seems to be finding its footing, that great running game, the offensive line doing its job up front, and then C.J. Carr spreading the wealth to his wide receivers. And we should see that from Madsen on the other side with Boise State this weekend. He likes to spread the ball around as well. The goal now is, it was winning games coming into the season. Now, let's continue winning games. Losing your first 2 of the year by a combined 4 points to 2 top 10 teams certainly isn't something to be ashamed of. And since they look like they've addressed and mostly cleaned up the reasons as to why they lost those 2 games to Miami and A&M, it's a different team. Back to 500 at 2-2. All anyone seems to want to talk about now, though, is the college football playoff. And it's normal. It makes sense. It happens. But with 3-1 Boise coming to town, you can't reach to CFP unless you pick up win number 3. From there, it's all about continuing to stack. Take care of business this weekend by following the formula that helped you earn your first 2 wins of the season. Aggressive defense. Get after the opposing quarterback. Protect yours and run the ball with power and efficiency. The Irish coaching staff and their players know how talented the group is as a whole, as a collective. And while the CFP certainly is not out of reach, controlling your own destiny for Notre Dame is. Now, the Irish need to continue to utilize that talent in order to win games. It starts Saturday, and we've got time to talk about it even more at home against the Broncos. Have a great rest of your day, and as always, go Irish.